up, YouTube? It's LS Matt again. We're in the same shirt as last Thursday because apparently I really have a schedule to everything. But, you know, today I want to talk a little bit about, you know, some things that happened. So, let's get into it. We're going to get into the story of why the police were there and why somebody ended up in handcuffs. But leading up to this story, you know, I want to start with, you know, the type of person not to be at a car meet, okay? You know, and I know some people are like, oh, top 5 guys, and you got the guy that sits there in a lawn chair by his car. I'm not talking about that, you know. You want to sit there in a lawn chair by your car, be my guest. The type of person that you don't want to be at a car meet is the guy who's revving excessively. You know, it's one thing to give it a little bit of gas as you come in and just, you know, give it a tiny bit. But, you know, if you have a car that's just straight piped and obnoxiously loud and you're revving the crap out of it, that's, you know, that's how meets get shut down. You know, some other things that'll get meets shut down are, you know, two-stepping. You know, I know it's fun for some people, but, you know, let's keep that to the drag strip. You know, that's what that's for. A two-step is a utility to spool a turbo, not a noisemaker. And while it does make noise, that's not its intended purpose. And that will quickly, very quickly, get people thrown out of a meet or get the meet shut down completely. You know, Brunswick police on more than one occasion have come down thinking that there were, you know, they had reports of gunfire because people who aren't car people don't know what a two-step is, for the most part. And, you know, they came down with reports of gunfire. One time they were driving by when it happened and they thought that they were getting shot at. You know, that's never a good situation. So, you know, if you two-step, or if your car can two-step, my suggestion would be keep it away from the meets, especially if you like going to those meets, because it's a good way to get people thrown out. Now, we're lucky enough at Sonic to have, you know, a business that supports us pretty well. But at the same time, I don't think a lot of these people want to put themselves out on the line for screw-ups that somebody in our group might have. So, you know, keep that in mind if you have another car meet you go to, or if you are somebody who's coming to Sonic Sundays. You know, there's an issue with the two-step, and it's not that we don't like two-steps. I love when a car two-steps, don't get me wrong. Just, we can't have it at the meet, and we don't want to be the goody two-shoes that says, oh, we can't do this or we can't do that. But really, you know, it comes down to we really can't. And it's not any of us saying that we don't like it there. You know, we would like it to be a family event, and, you know, two-stepping, you know, with young children, that can cause problems with their hearing, so there is that issue. But, you know, even assuming that there's no children there, you know, there's issues beyond that. It does really, a lot of the time, extend to the police and the people in the surrounding area, because that can be very disruptive to them. And, you know, the police will get calls about it, and they will have to come down and check it out. And, you know, that's just never a great situation, because that leads me to my next one, that when the police get there, you really don't want to be that guy or have any of those guys there that are just giving the police a hard time. You know, there was one cop that was really cool that came down this last Sunday, and a couple people asked him if they, you know, raced their interceptors, and the guy was pretty cool, and he was laughing about it with them. But, you know, there are those cops that when you get a guy that's really straight-faced, you know, there's a chance you can make the guy laugh, but 9 times out of 10, the guy who tries to make him laugh is really just kind of pissing him off more. And that's never a great situation when he comes down for a reason he doesn't want to be there for in the first place, and then you make it even worse. So, you know, when they come down, try to be respectful, you know, try to remove the people who did something wrong. So next we're going to get into some of the issues of why the police don't like Sonic Sundays anymore. For a while there, they realized that, you know, it's just a small car show and this is what happens and everything. But as time went on, you know, people got more and more bold, from revving their cars leaving to doing burnouts as they leave, and, speeding up and down the street. And, a little burnout I don't think is really the issue here. It's the people speeding up and down a main street where there's lots of people traveling up and down every day. There's a lot of people that are put in danger when people are speeding like that. And, whether you do it before you go to the event or whether you're out, some people may argue that it's really not their problem what people do on the streets. And, we didn't think so either, but eventually the cops got so tired of it, they, while they can't really make it our problem, they can find a way around it. In the case that we had, it was somebody was leaving one time, and he had a cop come after him. The cop's lights were on, and he decided he was going to run. Now, he got on the highway, and he did run, and he did get away. The officer stopped the pursuit when, he decided it was too dangerous to continue. The guy was reaching speeds of almost 150 miles an hour, running from the police, weaving in and out of traffic, and there was some pretty decent traffic on the highway at the time. And, the cops came back, and they're like, this jerk, and this and that. But, what happened, this was like 2 months ago. And now this Sunday, his brother gets in his car instead of his own car and comes back, and he shows up for like 2 seconds, I guess, and leaves with another car. And when they leave, they come back real shortly. I'm like, wait a minute, didn't you just leave? And I realized then what happened when I saw the cops pulling behind him. They left to go fool around on the highway, and they got caught going about 140 miles an hour on the highway, and the police chased them right into Sonic. And, the police, they did their thing, they talked to him. I believe they eventually let both of them go. I'm not exactly sure how that situation worked out. Maybe the police didn't actually see it, but got the call about it and came straight down to Sonic because they knew it was happening. I'm not sure how that played out and all the fine details, but I know that the police came down, and one of them ended up in handcuffs in the back of the police car because he wasn't being cooperative, and the other one, he kind of stood around and waited to hear what was going to happen. And I don't know if they wrote them both tickets or what, but they did both leave in their cars. Nobody left in the back of the police car. But then the police proceeded to come to me, and the one guy called me over, and he says, this isn't happening anymore. We're not having it. And I'm like, okay, so what happened here? Now, some people can argue, and I would have loved to have argued that, it didn't happen at Sonic. But knowing that the kids who came down and did that were coming from quite a ways away from where the show is, I couldn't really say that because they came all the way down that way just for the show. And he came to the show, and they decided at the show that they were going to do these things. And then I couldn't really say that because they came all the way down that way just for the show. And he came to the show, and they decided at the show that they were going to do these things. And then they got caught doing it and came back to the show. That really is related, and you really can't call that unrelated. There's nothing we can really do about that other than, try to kick the kids out. And, the police had their own solution for that. If the people go back, I believe they said, then Sonic has to notify the police, and the police are coming down and giving them a trespassing ticket. So they're actually kind of forcing Sonic's hand on this one to tell people not to come back when they're caught doing things like this. But, the big deal here, and the thing that really has everybody scared, and why I'm cautioning everybody and making this video in the first place, is now they've said that, normally they don't care about tint or straight-piped cars as long as they're not being super excessive with it and everything. And now they care. They said that because of this, if there's one more incident, like anything, they are going to sit outside the show and wait till everybody leaves and stop them for every single little offense that they would normally let go. So, in this case, while they can't shut the show down, they can really make it inconvenient for people to come back and make people just not want to come back and risk it in the first place. And do I blame the officers? Not really. They are getting called to this type of thing all the time. Unfortunately, you know, I like to run the show as best as I can, and, you know, as a moderator now, especially, which is nice, I'm just moderating, and it is handed back over to Hunter and Brian, but in this case, you know, I almost feel bad because the night that I did that was the night that everything just went completely downhill with that, and I don't really want to stick them with it, you know, so that's why I was the one who kind of talked to the cop and took the heat and was the one who got yelled at for that one, because I didn't really feel it was fair since they really hadn't been there. Now, can you blame me? You know, maybe some people can say, yeah, sure, it's your fault, whatever, you were the one who was running it, but at the end of the day, what it comes down to is there's just, people are going to do what people are going to do, and they really don't care about the consequences of it. They don't care if the meet gets shut down, they'll just find another meet, you know, but for those of us who really do care about, you know, Sonic Sundays, or if you have a show and you're finding yourself in a similar position, for people who really do care about it, you know, it is disappointing when, you know, something's threatened over people who really don't care, while all the people who do care are kind of left with nothing then. You know, in the car scene, what we need to work towards, and what everybody needs to work towards and realize, is that, you know, there are consequences for things that happen. Let's see what we can do about it to improve the state of the scene, you know, nationwide, because these problems aren't just limited to Ohio. You know, I've been reading articles from all over the U.S. that these same things are happening at other shows, and it's unfortunate. And if we're going to try to save the shows, you know, those of us who are really passionate about going out there and meeting up with friends and having a good time and talking about cars and sharing experiences, we really need to, you know, have this discussion and find a way to fix everything. If you like the video, drop a like. If you're a returning subscriber, let me know what you think. There's going to be some great... If you're a returning subscriber, let me know what you think about the video. Let me know, you know, if you've dealt with the same thing. And if you're new here, and probably a lot of you that are going to watch this are, you know, feel free to subscribe. We have some really exciting stuff coming up here in the near future. I've been working with some different people to work some things out, and there should be some great content coming up that far surpasses anything I've done in the past. So it's something worth sticking around for. So, you know, if you're new, definitely enjoy the channel, browse. You know, if you don't enjoy it, let me know what I could do that you would enjoy. You know, is there maybe a certain type of vlog or certain topics that you'd like to see? You know, I don't want just people to go, oh, I love you. You know, tell me what you want. So, until next time, guys, take care and have a great day.